Hey guys, CJ here, checking in with the review of the latest Iron Fist issue number 5, and this is the Living Weapon, the newest series, and it's a pretty good issue. It's still very much in origin mode. We're getting very much out of the origins of Danny Rand and how he became the Iron Fist, but it's being mostly told through a series of flashbacks while he actually is confronting his past in the present, if that makes any sense. And I'll try to explain it as best I can later on. But let's just jump into some pros and cons real quick. Things that really worked for this. Well, one, it's not nearly as confusing as the last issue, because the last issue was just very muddled in terms of pacing and plot structure. And this issue was a lot better, I think, because it actually it didn't blend together like the last one. It was clearly defined when the flashback was and when it wasn't. But at the same time, you did still get the great artwork. While it's a really interesting retelling of his origin story, and we actually get a really good look at what life was like in Kunlun for him as an outsider child. The only negatives I have for this is it's still very kind of odd and unclear what the villain's motivations are, and we have yet to see the puppet master in all this. And it's the other kind of weird thing. I won't call it a negative, but sort of the funny weird thing is that this reporter chick was able to hold her own against these ninjas, and now she might actually be dead because she was taking on the other big bad, who it looks like is coming after Danny. So I mean, let me just dive into the pieces of this origin story here, and the whole past and the present kind of balancing out. It seems like as the present of this story is Danny Rand has returned from Kunlun to seek revenge on the business associate that killed his father. He is now the Iron Fist, but he has forsaken the city of Kunlun, and recently the city of Kunlun was destroyed by these bandits, rebels, barbarians, whatever you want to call them, led by this creature that was revealed in the end of the last issue to be his father. And Danny's got his hands broken and all that. So that's where the story stands at the beginning. But also, you're flashing back a lot to his childhood, and so far the main flashback sequence seems to be back to his childhood, to entering Kunlun, and then they kind of stepped away from it, and this issue we got back to what it was like for him in Kunlun, as I mentioned, which was really the highlight to me of this issue. I can only really hope that they really strive to balance out the flashbacks even more, and eventually I hope they end up wrapping up the flashbacks, because flashbacks are a pretty antiquated trope. I mean, they're one that's never going to go away completely, but so far each and every one of these issues has leaned so heavily on flashbacks that they take up half of the story or more. And really what I think a lot of people are hoping for is eventually we get Iron Fist in the real world rather than how Iron Fist became Iron Fist. And to my knowledge, they're not really changing anything about his origin so far. They're just retelling it. So anyways, I'm not opposed to the origin. It's a good origin story, and I like the way they're retelling it. I can't wait to get to when we see what they do with this particular version of Danny Rand they've built. Anyways, yeah, that about wraps it up for this issue, this review. And actually, hold on one second. I just thought of a perfect comparison. This is the opposite of what they did with Grayson. With Grayson, they threw you in, and they said, just swim on your own. They threw you in the 12-foot mark of the pool and said, deal with it. To quote Ivan Drago, if he dies, he dies. And that, I guess, is talking about their readership. But Iron Fist is the other way. They're taking you slowly. They're having, not only are they doing flashbacks to explain where he came from, they're also having a storyline that necessitates the flashbacks by having him encounter the demons of his past. So hopefully that clears it up for you. Anyways, overall solid issue. I'd say if you're a fan of Iron Fist, or if you're looking for a cool comic, if you've got the cash, the scratch, the dough, the moolah to go pick up another book right now, I'd say start picking up Iron Fist. It's great. The art is really cool. The kung fu is awesome, and it's very entertaining, even though it's kind of confusing at some points. But I'd say definitely go pick this one up. It does clear up a lot more stuff, and it's got a really interesting look at the life of Kunlun. And I honestly can't wait to read the next issue. So anyways, signing off, this is the White Sheep, and I'll see you next time.